Well, hello everyone. This is Jessie Bowen, and welcome to the Power to Live Your Vision podcast. I'm here with my sidekick. I've got Coach Nathan Ray, and we've been chatting all morning and about what's happening in our lives that would be good to talk about today. And
Yeah.
so we decided to talk about time management,
Yeah.
and looking at what's going on in our lives. You may have the same thing going on in your life. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Oh, happy, radiant, free, shining bright like diamonds. You saw me roll in like Kramer. I quick grabbed something on, on the side. I said, wow, that's a pretty good entrance. I might have to adopt that, That,
Yeah,
that could
yeah.
be a thing.
Well, you always count your blessings that you have so much you can do. Thank
Yeah.
God for a right brain. For creativity, you got to have those left brain people around you to help manage stuff. Right
Yes.
brain folks are so creative. So that's what we want to get into today, and our topic is going to be on time management, and our little slogan is "Get her done."
Yeah, today that's the tagline. Get her done. I'm
Get
from
her
Nightdale. I'm
done.
from the country. You are too. So
No, I'm not.
that's no, you're not from Nightdale. You're not a city boy. I know you're not.
Excuse me. let's say I don't do any work anyway. My wife he doesn't do any work. I don't know where he's from, but anyway, I know I have a lot of things going on. You have a lot of things going on.
Right.
It is springtime and all that kind of good stuff. And we do want to shout out that this podcast is sponsored by Elite Publications, that visit our website, www.elitepublications.org. Everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. So the part of our story today and the power to live your vision is time management. Do you have enough time to get done all the things you need to get done? And are you working on the things that are giving you the most value? So I think that's a good place for us to start, is thinking
Yeah.
about time management and value. What
Yes,
is the
sir.
value of your time? Because you could be working on what I call the $10 hour things that you could be working on, but your rate is $300 an hour, but you're working on $10 an hour things. So you really have to make an adjustment with that.
Yeah.
How are you
Sure.
spending your time? And so
Yeah.
if you're dealing with time management and project management, that's very critical, because you have to realize when your deadlines are. And like I said, I'm working on a project, my magazine project, and all my deadlines are shot, and they're creating everything under those projects. Their timelines are being affected by something else. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
learning.
domino effect, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It is.
yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, this is poignant. What I see is, especially if you're a creative, you were having some humor about the right brain people and the left brain people, but I think that's absolutely right. I know with myself, I was leaving a lot of open loops. The exciting, sexy part is coming up with the ideas and getting it moving, starting it. That's the part that kind of, for a creative person, that's the part that really is exciting. But if we don't be aligned with the principles that you spoke about of mastering our activity and having things in a certain way, then we can wind up with a lot of open loops. Things don't get completed, they don't get finished, they don't manifest fully. And so I think that can be, well, I know in my case, I just speak personally, that can become frustrating. And then you don't realize what a drain it is on you when these things are not being targets are not being hit, or you're seeing stress come from that domino effect that you just mentioned. And so there's a lot of impact and effect that actually happens on us as a human being. And the thing about it is we adapt, And sometimes in us adapting, we get used to living in that state, and now we start to value being busy over being productive. Pardon me. We start to value being busy over actually being productive, and over actually being efficient in what we produce from what we're doing. So I think today's subject is going to be awesome. I'm very thankful to Elite Publications for being our sponsor, sponsoring this podcast, and getting the word out there on Spotify and Roku, on the Roku channel. So yeah, I think this is going to be great for all of us today. And like always, I have my notepad ready and ready to take lots of notes. I want to encourage the readers or the those that are watching to do the same thing. You know, jot down some quick notes. Don't get too caught up, and then go back and watch this. That's where your power really comes in. Is the power of repetition. You know, you learn something, you hear it once and it sounds sexy, but if you really want to get down into it, returning to it, that repetition of discovery and growth and discovery and depth come out through the repetition. So, yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about 5 things you can do to achieve success. And the first one is master your energy before your time. So when we think about our energy, not just your schedule, it's your greatest asset, focusing on your peak hours of clarity, creativity, discipline, perfect to protect your mindset and your health and your daily focus. So when we think about that, our energy, when are we the most productive? Because some of the things that we are engaged in is the energy doesn't match what we need to do. So I guess that's your my question to you, Coach, is when is your most productive time, your energy level? Like for me, I don't really get it. Really doesn't get turned on until 12 o'clock at night.
At night?
Yeah, but at 12 o'clock, it was like bam, everything comes to me.
Yeah,
That's my creative time. But
that makes
again, I've
sense.
got to really get into that morning meditation time to sort of get really clear on what I really need to do. So when is your energy time?
I'm similar. Depends on the cycle. I mean, you know, if you think about nature, we get into the rhythm of nature a lot of times. Like you mentioned, us kind of getting going and is being spring. And I announced to my class, we were doing thinking into mastery, and I said, you know, for me, New Year's is in January. Everything is kind of dormant. And I have been forcing things in New Year. I said, I'm going to shift my New Year. My New Year is going to be springtime, because that's when life is coming about, the energy is coming. And so me personally, I've been working to be in harmony with nature and kind of the flow of things. So I'm in the middle of my New Year right now, and it's great. I'm like you. I maybe if we talk to some other creative people, but in the daytime there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of, like, the phone rang a moment ago, you all heard, so we get a lot of people bombarding us. I think one thing, you need to protect your time, number one. I mean, and really value it, and understand the power of putting things in writing on a calendar. I mean that's just logistical, but it's very important. But going to your question about the energy, I think it shifts for me, but very much so. Late at night when it's quiet, everything's gone silent. I can be still, and when I get on something, I can focus on it without the distractions. So in some ways, I work opposite to the general population, and but then I have to understand that it's okay for me if I work 3 or 4 hours into the early morning hours. It's okay for me to lay down and to sleep in a little later, so that my body is still getting the healing time. And I think that's where sometimes I've gotten off. I'll work into the night until 2 or 3 in the morning, get in the zone, but then I'll wake up at 5:30 in the morning. so then you're not getting the proper rest. So I think as long
Right.
as people, I don't, if you people call it insomnia, I never call it insomnia. I just say, okay, there's something knocking that you need to let out. And it's knocking at night. So I get in rhythm with that, use that time, make it valuable, and then I might rest or take a nap the next day. I think it's good if you can, if you can make your life in such a way that that it fits your rhythm. Yeah. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Well, I think that's really important to know when is some of your most creative times. I do a lot. I dream a lot, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and I'll this dream, and I'll get up and I probably should move my cell phone from beside my bed between my cell phone and AI. I'll get up there and I'll start working when I probably should be sleeping. But that's what we really want to realize, that it takes energy to be able to get things done. To be able to get her done, you have to have the energy, you have to have the foresight to be able to do that. Now, there's only so much that you can do. So, what you have to do is look at, okay, how can I get some of these things done? So, I'm bringing in some more people on my staff because right now I have discovered over the past couple of weeks we are actually blessed, but we are on overload. So you know, we have
Critical
more work,
mass.
right? We have more work and opportunity than we actually have staffing. So some of the things I'm doing is actually hiring a virtual assistant, and I've been using one now for about a year, and she's really, really good. So, and the company has several other people, and they're actually in the Philippines. So
Uh-huh.
when they're working for me, we have a 12-hour difference in time, but they're able to get her done to make
Yeah,
things happen.
that's what
So
you
where do
want.
you get your help from? Hire someone to bring in. If especially if you're having success. If you're not having success, then you cannot hire to bring someone in because you cannot afford to just because of the revenue. So you really have to think about, in all the things you want to do, how can I get these things done? So the next thing you really want to think about is begin about, again, looking at those resources that you have in hand, your network, your knowledge, what's your skill set. Do you have the skill set to be working on certain projects? And that learn as I go is good, but what does it cost you? So if it
Yeah,
take
yeah,
me 30 hours to get something done, which I could have hired someone and paid them for 10 hours, could have had it done. So that's sort of balancing your time and your economics of
yeah.
what you're actually doing.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's important to be honest with yourself about your strengths, but also your weaknesses. And sometimes that means getting in the room with people who are smarter than you, spending time with other business owners, other people who are in the fight. And a lot of times in those conversations, even just for myself, being with Grandmaster Stephen Oliver and Grandmaster Jeff Smith, and us speaking about the martial arts industry, I love being the white belt, the beginner in the room, and learning from the conversation, just keeping my mouth closed and keeping and listening. And sometimes in those conversations, I see my gaps. I see my personal gaps. Now I'm aware of it. Now I can do something about it. So I think it's important that self-evaluation, looking at yourself, seeing literally what's going on. And a big part of that is the internal work. And I want to point back to your great book, The Journeyman, the journaling guide, because I think it's important, because a lot of times we jump on the app, we jump on the physical, let me move this and organize that. But if we don't have it cleaned out on the inside, it's just going to turn back into chaos. It's just a matter of time. So I think at the root of what we're getting at today is maybe starting off by getting the journeyman and the journal to go along with it, or any other way you want to do it, but just having a resource where you can pour out whatever all the chaos and all that's going on internally, and pouring it out. I think that's maybe some pre-work to everything that we're talking about. I think that's very important.
Well, yeah, you can have your organizer and all those other things, but I generally keep a a notebook, a journal next to me all day long because it's too much information for me to hold in my head. So I'll write a note down and that I can come back to it. But it's right beside uh, my computer, so everything I'm thinking about that's happening, I can write those things down. And
That's
again, those
awesome.
are not tasks that I have to necessarily do, but there are things I can pass on someone else on the team and that they can get it done. But
Yeah.
it's important that it needs to be done. As we said, there's so many moving parts. How many hours will it take for you to get it done? And, looking at what is the value of your time. And that's a good
Yeah.
question to really ponder is what is the value of my time? If I'm coaching someone, how much do you charge? Do you charge $10, $20, or do you charge $300 an hour? So if you look at your time is worth $300 an hour, and you look at how much you do in that 8 hour time, you want your day to be a $300 day based upon the time, the value of your time. So you need to be doing things that help you move towards that. But if you
Yeah.
pay yourself, so you got to value your time. You want to make sure you can pay yourself on Friday or when your payday is. You can pay yourself and get that value. Well, I paid myself and I only have $100 left over, but I now have worked 45 hours. So now your time is just the value's pennies. So you got to think about what is the real monetary value of your time, and then
That's
think about
great.
then that way you can pick and choose the different things you do and what is the value, so you can work on the things that give you the most value. There are some things that just give you satisfaction. You can work on those things later.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, doubling down on what's being most productive for you. That was one thing that I implemented because of what you said, because sometimes you're in a place where you actually start needing the help, but if you haven't prepared and if you're not charging the proper things, if you don't have the right price structures in place, then you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage, because now you're not putting yourself in a place where you can actually logistically afford to bring that other person on when you need them. So, yeah, and that's great mindset around that, paying yourself first, because on a subconscious level, the value that we assign to ourselves, we absolutely need to physically have a representation of it, because we still need that reward to that is subconsciously pushing us forward more and more. So I love that, going back to the basics, the foundation, pay yourself first. Yeah.
And and everyone, if you're listening to our podcast, you say, well, they may have something that I could use. Remember, message us, email us. You can email me at info@elitepublications.org. And Coach, how can people reach you?
That's yeah, you can just reach out to N as in Nathan, N.Ray at mac.com, mac.com. I'm happy to respond and set up a time. We can set up a time to chat. I like to be, face to face, belly to belly, as they say, and just be in the mix, and because you can really get a lot more out of it. So we do a short conversation, get to know each other, and see if we are aligned to work together.
Right, right. And again, you need support. And where do you get it from? Where do you get it from? So again, we want to
Quality support, right?
right
Yeah.
quality support.
Because now you can tap into so much information, but it might not be relevant to your situation. And that's the value of coaching and mentorship. It's not, a big eye, little you situation. It's sometimes, okay, this person is in a position, they have a certain expertise and experience, and they can see your blind spots, going back to what we said a moment ago. So yeah, for sure. Yes, sir.
And so, developing get it done mindset, developing a get it done mindset. So that is commitment. That is a commitment to whatever your goals are, is that you're committed to be able to get it done, to execute. Uh, you know, this is where it separates the dreamers from the achievers, because the dreamers is all the things that they can come up with, but then the achievers, how many of those dreams can you achieve? You must have the discipline, you have to have the ability to take action, and you really need to be emotionally connected to what you're doing, and you also need to have support. So all those things are very important to developing a get it done mindset.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what we spoke about earlier. It's really an energy thing. It really and then on the physical side of that is, how you're laying things out. I mean, if you just break things up into small daily pieces and learn how to be consistent. And I think one of the big things is shifting. Big shift can be made when you shift from having a bunch of tasks to running routines. I think that's a big one. That's been a big one for me, is recognizing, hey, I can have this task, and then when it comes back up, I got to burn a lot more energy and make the same decisions over and over. But really looking at the things that I could shift from the task, instead of it being a daily, separate thing. Hey, how can I incorporate this into a routine? Then it's automated and I don't have to think about it. I think, those are just like little nuggets that really start to save you energy and time.
And you're exactly right. And this is the reason why, investing wisely in your time, your energy, and your money. And so when you now prepare that yourself mentally, that every decision is an investment. So, and I sort of think about things like that when I'm working on a different project. Okay, I'm gonna put this much energy in and invest this much time. What is the likelihood of my success? And I've been using a lot of really great tools to help me to be able to evaluate my decisions and to create the strategies in doing that. And that's the thing about having AI. You can now create your models, your strategies, and you can now move forward. But your decisions is an investment. So if you think about it like that, if you remember nothing else in the podcast today, make that mental note that your decision is an investment, and to be intentional about where you put your time, who do you spend that time with, and how do you use your finances to move your visions forward. So all of those things really connect in developing the time management system to be able to get her done.
Yes, sir, indeed. Well, I mean, decision is the opposite of procrastination. So, when we raise our level of awareness and really think about, if you're a procrastinator, if you put things off, it just means you haven't made a real decision. You just kind of
Mhm.
tapping your toe. And I was talking with one business owner, and it was very inspiring speaking with her, because she said, "Hey, on some level, you got to man up." And this is her talking now. She's like, you got to man up and just do the thing, and on all this level of what we're speaking about, all of it is right and exact. But on another level, you just have to make a decision and just get busy and watch the doors fly open for you. Watch the opportunities show up, because now you're aware of it. They've really been showing up all along, but most of the time, if we haven't been getting busy, our level of awareness hasn't met our activity. So that was really a good key. But I love what you said about decision, because that's right on it. Make a real decision.
And so as you move forward this week, You know, pen and paper, write down what it is you're working on, what's the outcome, meditate on it, sit down, close your eyes, and go in and build it in the future. You know,
Mm.
what will it be like? You know, what will your product be? What will your service be? You know, what will that vacation be? What will your life be? So spend that time meditating, because meditating is a powerful resource for making you a better person, a better provider. So when you can get it out of your head and get it into your mind, you know, in that deeper part, not just, in your head, but that deeper part that you can meditate on, and now you can start being able to manifest.
That's so powerful, and you know, and a lot of times we see the things that are physically manifest, and not to get woo woo on everybody or anything, but in truth, the greatest things are the unseen things. Our power to think is not something you see. It is a gift that we have. It's the intangible. So going back to the meditate, oh man, that's great. That's a great reminder. I'm gonna do that myself. When the podcast is over, I'm gonna sit and meditate.
Well, you know, meditation, again, what is meditation? Most people blow meditation out of the water and over explain. The simplest way to think about meditation, you do it every day. Without going into a state of meditation, you wouldn't be able to go to sleep. So meditation is simply putting your mind into a relaxed state that you can now function in. You can slow things down and you can look at them. And it's also a way to build your creativity by using meditation. So, you know, we're getting ready to, that's what's going to be in the magazine coming up. So get ready. The Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine is coming
Yeah.
out just in hopefully in another week. And one of the articles in there is how to add mindfulness training to your martial arts school. So it doesn't matter whether it's your martial arts school, your church community, or wherever your athletes.
That's
So
right.
remember, everyone has to do the same thing. They
Right.
have to be able to fix it in their head before they bring it to reality. So we're getting ready to wrap up here. Any last statements from you, Coach?
Well, no, I'm on that last point. I'm reminded of an acronym for system. Save yourself time, energy, and money. And having systems in place absolutely will do that. So if you think about that acronym, that might give you some guidance and allow you to focus in on this subject. Again, just encouraging everyone to keep enjoying the podcast. Join us. Definitely reach out to us, and I know I'm enjoying this process now. It's already like about 3 going on 4 months of this from an idea. We had a conversation over Christmas, and now it's turned into the podcast, which is now also going to be a book, and that's going to be released when, sir?
August.
All right.
It's going to be, we're going to release this book in August. You know, we're working on bringing together 100 authors. So if you've been thinking about writing a book and you're not sure how to get started, you can join our team. So we're going to be in Las Vegas and we're going to be in New York for a book release. So if you would like to get started on your book and be a part of our 100 authors, remember, reach out to me at info@elitepublications.org. Love to have you as a part of the team. Love to share with you. I've written now 64 books and get ready to go into book number 65. And so,
All right.
I'm gonna knock out that 70 books by the end of the year. And
All
people
right.
may ask, well, why do you want to write all these books? You got 60 books. Well, I get paid. I'm gonna give you the simplest answer I can possibly give you. I enjoy
Let's
driving
keep it
that
real.
Corvette. I enjoy driving that Corvette. And what does the license plate say, Nate? You know the license plate?
#1 author.
#1 author. So that's, again, because it's information. And I'm helping to make the world a better place, because if someone picks up my book and read it and they now can change their life, then that is valuable. You know, and how do
Absolutely.
you do that? So I would recommend everyone, tell your story. It's about legacy. Write a book. What are you thinking? So we could write a book on just time management. In our new book, we're going to have a section there on time management that will be developed from this podcast today. So as we're doing this podcast, we're also writing a book at the same time. So what are
Yeah.
you doing that you're getting good at, or you're good at, or even something that you're not good at, and you discover it's not working, and you want to stop someone else from making that same mistake? Write a book on it. So everyone, remember, this podcast is sponsored by Elite Publications. Everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. All right, Coach, I'll be
Yes,
talking
sir.
with you. Have a blessed week, and everyone have a blessed week. And just remember, the power to live your vision, living your vision. But make sure you have one.
Yep.
Be blessed.